There's only one species of proboscis monkey in the entire world, and that's endemic to our own Borneo. That means the monkey is found only in Borneo. But that one little monkey, look at the number of common names it has. Bakandan, Bangatan, Kera Bakandan, Rasong, and the last two names, they shouldn't even be there. They're obsolete. Confusing, right? Yeah. These local names, very confusing. I hear you. I feel you. In fact, biologists also heard you, not today, not yesterday, but hundreds of years ago. That's why they decided that all plants and animals in the world should be known by one unique scientific name. And they started giving scientific names, Latinized scientific names, to all the plants and animals in the world. Names such as this. May I ask you, may I request you to please read the name after me. Tormentalia, Reptans, Eleta. The next one is a bit tricky. Phol, Profundius, Serratis. Tormentalia, Reptans, Eleta, Phol, Profundius, Serratis. It has a nice music to it, isn't it? If you have 5 names, then it's a poem. You and me are then Wordsworth. We can add a bit of music and make a K-pop song out of it. But imagine if you and me were biology students and we had to learn hundreds of these names. Gets a bit murky, isn't it? Worse, if we are researchers, biologists, inventorying a 100-hectare plot where we have to record thousands of these names, it's even worse, isn't it? Fortunately, we have this great botanist called Linnaeus appearing in the 18th century. He saved us from all this trouble by introducing the binomial system of classification. According to this system of classification, all plants and names in the world are given one Latin name comprising of just 2 names, which we call as epithets in biology. The first epithet, or the first part, corresponds to the genus, and the second part corresponds to the species. Consequently, the poem that we saw a while ago is now known as Potentilla erecta, our humble tormental plant. And our proboscis monkey is known as Nasalis lavatus. When you say Nasalis lavatus, anywhere, in any part of the world, it means only one thing: the amazing monkey from Borneo. There can be no confusion at all. There's no room for confusion. If scientific names have solved the problems of confusion, they have made things easier in terms of clearing confusion and communicating biological knowledge across people, then do we really need common names? Can we just get rid of them and just stick to scientific names? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that all local names that we have for our plants and animals, they are special, they are irreplaceable, and they have profound meanings to the local communities to whom it matters a lot. I'm seeking your help again. Can you please identify the plant by the local name?
Simpor.
Louder, please.
Simpor.
Thank you. Simpor. The botanical name, or the Latin name given to Simpor, is Dillenia saffruticosa. I'm requesting you to read it again for me, please. Dillenia saffruticosa. Does it feel the same? That's because Simpor is not just a name. It's packed with the emotions. We see Simpor flower wherever we go in Borneo, especially in Brunei. Go to the roadside, you see a simbu flower. You go to a paddy field, we see a simbu flower. You go to the edge of the forest, we see a simpu flower. It's synonymous with Bruneian identity today. It's synonymous with the cheerful faces that we see around us and has gathered profound meanings that Linnaeus of Fruticasa, which of course is a beautiful name, has its own merit, cannot match. Imagine a young lad courting his crush. Sweetheart, you are the Linnaeus of Fruticasa of my life. Does it work? Instead, if he says, sweetheart, you are the simpur of my life, that makes sense. That might work. So local names, are they just about emotions? Emotions can be attached to anything. The materials gather meanings as time progresses. No, local names are condensed forms of knowledge. They communicate knowledge. They have profound knowledge embedded in them, knowledge that has been given to people because local names are products of both languages and local knowledge. These names can contain knowledge related to morphological features of the plant, its color, size, etc. It could contain knowledge related to ecological characteristics of the plant, where it grows, how it grows, etc. It could contain knowledge related to utility value of the plant. Is it medicinal? Does it yield fiber? Does it yield oil, etc.? Or names could reflect the quality of the plant. Is it bitter? Is it sweet? Does it itch, etc.? So for the past 10 years, me and my team, we have been working on cracking the plant name, the code of plant names. And finally, we have come up with this classification. So we classify local names into two broad categories based on the apparency of local knowledge. Names where we have the local knowledge readily apparent, readily visible to us, we call them as barefaced local names. And the other ones, the cryptic local names, are where we have complex local knowledge embedded in it. Often, these names denote multiple entities, not just one entity, multiple entities. And as of now, we have recorded three major types of cryptic names: metaphors, metonyms, portmanteaus. And the next part of my talk, I'm going to give some examples of these. Barefaced names, they are formed by compounding. There's this linguistic process called as compounding, by a combination of noun and an adjective or a verb. The first example, Bacauminia. The name means that it's a species of rhizophora that yields oil. In the past, local communities in the Malay archipelago extracted oil from this plant and used it to burn their lamps. It's a biofuel, people. The second one, woody tuber, it refers to morphological characters. It means that the tuber is woody in nature. Imagine you carry a grocery bag and going deep into some interior village in Borneo to visit one of your relatives, and you're chased by a chicken. Not just any chicken, but a black chicken. You know how terrifying it is. And you're about to run. And then you realize that you have this magical weapon in your grocery bag, ubi kayu. It's woody. Then you take it and you chase the chicken away. The third example we have here, dahun pahit, means bitter leaves. When it's translated to English, it means bitter leaves. But bitter leaves doesn't do justice to the Malay name dahun pahit, because pahit, the taste pahit, is appreciated in a deep manner in the Malay communities. It's not just bitter, but it is embedded or is rooted in the fumeral qualities as understood by the local communities. That's how profound these barefaced names are, though the local knowledge is readily visible. The next example I would like to give is from a cryptic name, metaphor. Metaphors are names generated on the basis of simile. That is, one entity is named on the basis of its comparative features with another. People compare one entity to another. This name is collected from the Vai community of Bindulu by my former research assistant, Dr. Savitri Hidayati. The Vai community identify the hammerhead scallop shark as Quarret tardal. Quarret refers to all sharks. Tardal refers to an interesting practice where in the past, the local community, the Vai community, used to do intentional head modification. That is, they used to tie two wooden planks to the front and back of young girls so that when these girls grow up, the head is flat. And the community believed that girls with flat heads are prettier. This practice doesn't exist anymore, but the shark exists. Every time they see a Quarret tardal, they are reminded of this cultural heritage. The next example is a metonym, and the phenomenon is called as metonymy. Here again, you see one name denoting two different entities, but unlike metaphors, here the community sees a cultural connection between them. Here, this example, we collected it from the Orang Kanekes of Indonesia. These people refer to the Mangifera acacia tree, which we call as binjai in Borneo, as binglu. Binglu is also a disease, which is similar to urticaria. The name signifies that the latex of the binglu tree could be used to treat the binglu disease. So there's so much of local knowledge, local medicinal knowledge embedded in just one noun, which has two noun senses. Another example, again metonymy. Here this metonym is formed by compounding. Durian Kurakura, the only durian species where we find the fruits growing close to the stem, close to the base. All of the durian species have fruits fruiting at the canopy, at the branches. Kurakura also refers to the tortoise. We know that the tortoise is a land-dwelling animal. It lives on the surface of the land where it crawls. Well, that's not how it crawls. That's our buaya, the crocodile. The tortoise goes slow. Okay. They're such amazing darlings, right? And the tortoise feeds on the detritivorous materials on the surface of the land, and that's why it's considered as a scavenger. It eats durian fruits, but all durian fruits except durian kurakura is accessible to these tortoise only when the fruits fall on the ground. Durian kurakura is the only fruit that's available to the tortoise while it is still attached to the tree. And if you talk to the local Kedayan people here, they could even clearly tell us those durian kurakura fruits that were bitten by the tortoise, because those fruits, the people believe that, develop a smell of human urine. How profound it is. Now, if we were to communicate conservation importance of the tree to the local people, which name would we use? Durian Kurakura, which has so profound meaning to the local community, or the scientific name that is Durio testudinarius. Durio testudinarius is a beautiful name because it's one of the rarest cases where the Latin name reflects the actual ground name given by the local communities. In this case, Testudo means tortoise. Our question is that if the people identified Durian Kurakura before the scientists discovered it, they had discovered the properties, the ecological properties, and given such a beautiful name, why couldn't it be called as Durio kurakurensis? The name just has to be Latinized. That's the botanical code of nomenclature. We don't have to give an exotic name to it. The last example of cryptic name, portmanteaus. Portmanteaus are names formed by the blending of two or more words. For example, smog is a combination of smoke and fog. And portmanteaus are a beautiful feature of languages in the Malay archipelago. In this case, Jambu Chingchalauk. Jambu refers to Syzygium, Jambu. And Chingchalauk is a combination of three words, Chiching di Lagok. That means this Jambu grows in the ditches. It's ecological characters. It speaks about the ecology of the species, that it grows in low-lying areas. See how profound these names are. Ladies and gentlemen, folk names are not just names. They are repositories of local knowledge. When we lose a name, we lose a corresponding chunk of local knowledge. Globally, there is a co-occurrence of biological diversity, linguistic diversity, and ethnic diversity. Areas rich in biological diversity are also rich in linguistic diversity. For instance, Papua New Guinea, which is such a small country, has 7% of the biological diversity in the entire world. It also has 987 plus languages. The Malay archipelago has more than 25,000 islands, and this means that there is plenty of coastal land available. And these coastal lands are home to many indigenous communities. And these communities have plenty of local knowledge, and they are the key to sustainable use and conservation of biological diversity in the terrestrial biome and the marine biome. Thank you. Thank you.